Welcome to our second tutorial from the TwinSAFE department. Today I will show you how you can convert an existing Safe Motion project to a TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project. My name is still Martin Früchtel from the Product Management Safety. Before I start with the actual demonstration, a short overview of our agenda today. I will give you some basic information about the tutorial. I will show you how our demo system looks like. And then I will show you the actual demonstration within TwinCAT 3 and several points to the demonstration. I will give you a brief outlook to the following tutorials. And of course, again, we have a short Q&A to today's topic. The goal of our today's tutorial is the conversion of a custom motion project with a user-defined SLA functionality with a safe limited acceleration functionality to a TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project. In order to do the same as we do in our tutorial, you need a TwinCAT 3 version greater or equal to 4024.11. You need a T9000 version greater or equal to 1211. You need a TwinSAFE firmware version greater or equal to 03. And finally, you need an AX8000 firmware greater or equal to 0104 with the default module ID active. The start of our tutorial is a complete solution with a standard PLC project and an AX8000 project. That AX8000 project exists of some functionality also available within the wizard, but we also have a user-defined SLA functionality we want to transfer to our TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project. When we look at the hardware structure of our demo system, it's a very simple structure. We have an CX for the EtherCAT communication and the standard PLC. We have an EL6910 as our master TwinSAFE logic, so our existing AX8000 project, and the final TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project will communicate with that EL6910. We also have an EL1918 connected for the safe inputs of a light barrier. And we have an AX8000 in the X2XX safe motion version. The required safety functionality in today's tutorial is we want the same functionality as before, but we want to have a project based on our TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project. Before we start with the actual demonstration, we have to make two assumptions to the software we want to transfer. Our goal is to take an existing SLA implementation and transfer it to the new TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project. And for that existing software, we assume that the safety application is already modularized and the user-defined functionality is more or less connected, so it can be transferred directly. But I will give a few hints later if that assumptions are not correct in your case. With that assumptions, we could start with our demonstration. As mentioned before, we have an existing TwinCAT 3 solution with the I/O configuration and two safety projects. One of the safety projects is our Safe Motion project with an SLS, SLP, and the mentioned SLA functionality. And that's exactly the functionality we want to transfer. So we open our TwinSAFE group for the SLA function. In the next step, we select the three function blocks for the SLA functionality. And via the context menu, right-click User FB Handling and Create. We create the user FB definition. In that dialog, we could choose the inputs and outputs of our user FB, but we don't need it for today's tutorial. We just need to select original position so that the user FB says the positioning of the function blocks. After that, our user FB is created, and that user FB is exactly existing of our SLA functionality. So now we start our TwinSAFE Motion Wizard. TwinSAFE Wizard start Safe Motion Wizard, and we go step by step through our wizard. We select our AX8000. We select our feedback, and within the selection of the functions, we see our original project has an SLS function supported by a wizard. We have a SLP supported by our wizard, but the SLA functionality is not available within the wizard, so we need to transfer that functionality. In the next step, we rename our TwinSAFE Motion Project Wizard, and we select the year 6910 the generated project should communicate with. And last but not least, we check if the safe addresses are still correct and let the wizard do its work. After the wizard has finished the generation of the project, we have our TwinSAFE Motion project with the generated SLS and SLP functionality. For our SLA functionality, we need to create a new TwinSAFE group. We rename that TwinSAFE group accordingly, but that could also be done via the TwinSAFE group wizard visible before. And now we can just copy and paste our useFB to our new safe project so that the useFB is available within the complete project. So within our new generated group for the SLA functionality, we just have to rename our network and add a new instance via useFB handling add. And then we select our useFB. And last but not least, we just extract the useFB via useFB handling and extract. And afterwards, we have the same definition of the SLA functionality as in our original project. So the next step is the transfer of our assignments. So we take the analog in assignment from the original project, and in the original functionality, we are also using the safe inputs on the front of the AX8000. We take over the corresponding variables, front input 1 and front input 2. And the output of the safe OR within our functionality goes to the error handling of our TwinSAFE Motion project. There's an end function block, safe motion for channel A, and we just select the next input and N2 so that the output signal of the SLA function is transmitted correctly. After saving, we still got 2 error messages because the safe inputs front input 1 and 2 are not connected. So as mentioned before, those are the safe inputs on the front of the AX8000. So we choose from the TwinSAFE group connection input, the alias device target system, and choose safe input 2. And same goes for front input 1. Again, connection input group, alias device target system, and the safe input 1 signal. Next, we are using an assignment of a global variable, the acceleration maximum. So we go to our global variable definition, look for our variable acceleration max, and basically do the same as with the other variables. We go to the alias devices on the connection input and choose from the internal process image of the AX8000 the corresponding signal, acceleration maximum. And basically all signals are connected now. The only thing missing is if you create a TwinSAFE group, the TwinSAFE group has an arrow egg and run input signal, and those are going to the local standard inputs run and error acknowledgement right now. We just want to use the same run and error acknowledgements as for the other groups. So we reassign them to our target system, to the signals from the AX8000 called drive rec run and correspondingly drive rec error egg. Basically in the same place again. So now we have all signals connected and we can discard our generated standard input signals because they are not connected anymore. Last but not least, we now have a safe motion project with our functionality, and that safe motion project is talking to the EL6910, but the original project was already talking to the EL6910. So within the EL6910 project, we have to delete the connection to the original project because we don't need it anymore. And that's the point where we are basically done with the transfer of our functionality. So we do a quick verification of the complete project. If we haven't missed any of the variables, we can start our multi-download. We don't need our original project to be downloaded. We just need our EL6910 project and the AX8000 project. So we start the download by entering our username and password. Choose the to project. After the download has completed, we are verifying the CRCs. And finally, we are activating both projects by entering the password again. So now we can also delete our original project. We don't need it anymore. And because we changed the process image of the AX8000 and the EL6910, we have to activate the configuration again. After the configuration is back in run, we can take a look at our SLA functionality. So we open the corresponding TwinSAFE group and go to the online view and see that all signals are transferred correctly. And when looking at the EL6910 process image, we can see that our new TwinSAFE Motion project is communicating successfully with our EL6910 project. When we look at the generated TwinSAFE Motion project, or respectively the altered project, we see that the TwinSAFE groups are shown in execution order. So the generated SLS and SLP functionality is executed within connection input and output. The SLA functionality is the last TwinSAFE group. So to do everything correctly, we have to change the TwinSAFE group order. So via the context menu, edit TwinSAFE group order, we open a dialog and then we can just drag and drop our SLA function below the SLP function. So after accepting the dialog, we see that the SLS, SLP, and SLA functions are executed the same within the connection input and the error handling and the connection output functionality. Of course, if we change the TwinSAFE group order, again, we have to do a download of the safety project. And that was basically the demonstration of our procedure. There are, of course, some deviations to our procedure. For example, if you have a user-defined functionality which is distributed over several networks, for example, at the current version of TE9000, it's not possible to create a user FB over several networks. So our suggested solution for now is create a user FB from one network and the remaining functionality is copied and pasted or cut and pasted, of course. Same goes for the distribution over several groups. So just take the biggest network, create a user FB, and the remaining functionality again via cut and paste. If you have a user-defined functionality which is using other alias devices than the AX8000, so for example, you have an EL1918 integrated within your function, you have to manually transfer the alias device to the new safety project. And if your functionality is realized within a complete TwinSAFE group, basically what we have shown today, in the current version, you need to do our useFB procedure because in the current version, TwinSAFE groups cannot be copied completely. It's already on our to-do stack for the future, but again, in the current version, you have to do our useFB procedure. I want to conclude today's tutorial with a brief outlook to the future tutorials. In the next tutorial, we take a deeper look at the safe limited position functionality. So we show you how you can create a project with the TwinSAFE Motion Wizard and integrate a safe limited position. So how you can create it, how you can configure and use the functionality. The next tutorial then will be on updating the firmware on the AX8000. We will show you how you can create a TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project with additional local safety functionality. And of course, because of the feedback from the first tutorial, we will also do a tutorial on the backup and restore mechanism within the TwinSAFE Motion Wizard. So how you can use a EL69 project and the AX8000 TwinSAFE Motion Wizard project in combination with our backup and restore mode for easy replacement of drives, for example. And there are still some tutorials following. We are still collecting topics. If you have any suggestion, just write us an email. I want to thank you for your attention today, and I look forward to your attendance of the next tutorial.